What if your closest allies suddenly turned against you? Canada and the US, two inseparable economies, are now at war. But this isn't a war of weapons, it's a war of tariffs. And it could change everything. 1. The political and economic fallout of Trump's decision to impose 25% tariffs on Canadian exports marks a significant escalation in US-Canada trade tensions. Historically, the two nations have enjoyed strong economic ties, with Canada being the US's largest trading partner. The move comes at a time when Trump is preparing for the 2024 presidential election, signaling a return to his America First trade policies. 1. Key date: March 5, 2025. Trudeau announces Canada's countermeasures. 2. Key figures: Donald Trump, Justin Trudeau, USMCA negotiators. 3. Economic impact: Canada relies on the US for 75% of its exports, making these tariffs particularly damaging. 3. Analysts predict a looming recession for Canada if they remain in place. 4. Previous trade conflicts: Trump has used tariffs as leverage before. His 2018 steel and aluminum tariffs against Canada caused a similar outcry but were later lifted. 5. Global ripple effects: China's retaliation against US tariffs highlights the broader implications of Trump's aggressive trade stance, potentially setting off a worldwide trade conflict. 2. Trudeau's final act: a defiant retaliation. Trudeau, days before stepping down as Prime Minister, has chosen to go out with a strong stand against Trump's policies. His decision to impose a $30 billion retaliatory tariff package, with an additional $125 billion in reserve, signals a shift from Canada's traditionally diplomatic approach to trade disputes. 1. Key date: March 10, 2025. Canada's Liberal Party selects a new leader. 2. Trudeau's message: he characterizes Trump's move as an attack on Canada's economy, calling the reasoning completely false. 3. Public response: Trudeau frames the retaliation as a fight for Canadian sovereignty, leading to growing nationalist sentiment, including boycotts of US products and protests at sports events. 4. Trade mechanisms: Canada plans to challenge the tariffs at the WTO and under the USMCA trade agreement, though such cases can take months or years to resolve. 5. Trudeau's legacy: his firm stance in his final days could redefine how his tenure is remembered, either as a strong defender of Canadian interests or as the leader who presided over a trade war. 3. Trump's political strategy: trade war as a campaign tool. Trump's trade war against Canada appears to be more than just an economic decision. It aligns with his broader 2024 re-election strategy. By taking a hard stance against foreign nations, he reaffirms his commitment to protectionist policies that appeal to his voter base. 1. Key date: April 2, 2025. Trump plans to impose reciprocal tariffs worldwide. 2. Fentanyl accusations: Trump claims Canada has failed to curb the flow of fentanyl into the US, linking trade penalties to the opioid crisis. 3. Historical precedent: this mirrors Trump's 2018-2019 tariff battles with China, Europe, and Mexico, where he leveraged economic pressure for political gains. 4. Short-term gains versus long-term consequences: while tariffs may rally voters who support economic nationalism, they also risk severe job losses and price hikes for American consumers. 5. Impact on USMCA: by undermining the very trade agreement he once called extraordinary, Trump creates uncertainty about North America's economic future. 4. Economic consequences: a lose-lose scenario? Both the US and Canada face significant economic risks from escalating tariffs, potentially leading to a recession on both sides of the border. 1. Stock market reaction: US and Canadian markets show signs of volatility as investors anticipate higher costs of goods. 2. Industry impact: the auto, agriculture, and manufacturing sectors, heavily integrated across the US-Canada border, could suffer massive disruptions. 3. US businesses push back: American companies reliant on Canadian imports and exports are lobbying against the tariffs, fearing higher production costs and job losses. 4. Consumer backlash: with prices set to rise on both sides, Public frustration could sway upcoming elections in both nations. 5. Lessons from history. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930 exacerbated the Great Depression. Will this trade war repeat history? 5. The future of US-Canada relations. While tensions are high, history suggests that US-Canada disputes eventually de-escalate, often due to economic necessity. However, this conflict could have lasting political and diplomatic effects. 1. Key question. Will Canada's new leadership adopt Trudeau's hardline stance or seek a diplomatic resolution? 2. Biden versus Trump. If Joe Biden or another Democrat wins the 2024 election, they may seek to reverse these policies, restoring trade stability. 3. Long-term shifts. Canada may accelerate efforts to diversify trade partnerships to reduce dependence on the US, increasing economic ties with Europe and Asia. 4. National identity and politics. This conflict fuels a rise in economic nationalism in Canada, with politicians using anti-Trump rhetoric to rally support. 5. Trade policy moving forward. The effectiveness of Canada's WTO challenge and USMCA dispute process will set a precedent for how trade conflicts are resolved in the future. Final thought. A defining moment for North America. This trade war is more than just an economic dispute. It's a test of the US-Canada alliance in an era of rising economic nationalism. Whether it ends in resolution or long-term estrangement depends on how both nations navigate the next few months. This trade war could shake up the entire global economy. What do you think? Is Trudeau making the right move, or will Canada regret this retaliation? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analysis on politics, economics, and world events. See you in the next one. Rocket like, share, and subscribe. Rocket.